This podcast will very briefly clarify expectations for your second assessment task. It's very much related to the first assessment task and involves you beginning to establish a professional portfolio based on a collection of observations and audits that we want you to conduct in your 5 single days when you're in schools. So we are going to ask you, based on the workshops, to conduct 4 quite specific audits and observations that we choose. They'll relate to the subjects of the workshops or the topics of the workshops, and they relate to feedback strategies by teachers, questioning in the classroom, relate to a lesson planning observation, and there'll be a general observation around what comes into the school from beyond the school gate. In addition, so those 4 observations or audits form the basis of your professional portfolio. In addition, you'll be implementing your own designed audit tool or observation plan from Assessment Task 1 Part A. So in Assessment Task 1 Part B, you implement that. So that forms another part of your professional portfolio. In addition to that, we'd like you to conduct some other between 4 and 5 audits or observations of your own choice. So there should be 8 to 10 observations from across a range of topics, and here are some of the topics that we're suggesting that you focus on. So in total, there'll be 8 to 10 different observations presented as a series of appendices to your assignment. The main focus of your assignment, however, and of your word count, is on your ability to draw meaning from these audits and observations and identify or draw out implications for your own practice. So again, we're asking you to develop your analytical skills. Choose 2 or 3 of your total observations and analyse the data that you've collected. Draw some inferences and insights from what you have observed that will inform your own practice as a teacher. Make sure that these are on 2 different areas of teaching and learning. So, an example I've given here in your explanation, don't submit reflections on 2 observations on the topic of questioning. You might choose questioning for one, you might choose lesson plan structure for another. You also need to make connections to relevant theory and research in your analysis. So you might identify something out of the observation that is an insightful implication for your own practice. Where's the support for that from the relevant theory and research that you've investigated around that particular topic? We want you to submit your portfolio online, so you need to have a brief table of contents. For the 2, and we're suggesting 2 is probably better than 3, selected observations or audits you've completed, here's the reflection structure that we'd like you to follow. Doesn't have to be subheadings, but it could if you want that sort of structure. A very brief description of the observation audit and the context. An analysis of what was observed. This moves beyond description. We want more than description. I keep asking myself, so what? What does it mean that the children asked lots of open-ended questions? What does that suggest to you? What's the professional inference you might draw from that analysis? What might this mean for your own teaching? What practices or strategies might you need to adopt for your own teaching? Has anything that you observed caused you to question what you think teaching might be? Put in some links to the literature to support your analysis and your reflection. Then, as an appendix, provide all of the completed observations and audits. They might be photos or scanned copies. Keep in mind that some scanners and cameras might make the file sizes particularly big, that could cause you problems when you come to upload. So try and use devices that can compress the file size of any images that you create in putting your portfolio together. And a reference list. Make sure it's not a bibliography. I need to see the references that you have cited in the body of your text. Anything else is not relevant. Of course, when you are putting all of this together, make sure that you read the criteria sheet to help guide you around emphasis. Good luck.